Welcome to the second part of our Mokau story. We're up on Mangatoi Station, right up in the headwaters of the river. Used to be a cattle and sheep station many years ago, and it's becoming one again, but it's a very interesting story, and we'll give you an insight into Mangatoi as the next day or two goes by. But we're here so that James can get a pig. We're here for the R&R, of course. Fire's going. Lily's nailed a rabbit, which she suspended above the fire. Little burnt offering, that char-grilled rabbit, I think, Lily, didn't you say?
Yeah.
Char-grilled rabbit's down there. Look forward to trying that. You probably want to jump out of the lounge seat you're sitting in at the moment and try the char-grilled rabbit. This is great. This is just beautiful. So if you want to find out about Mangatoi Station and whether or not you can get here, you want to get in touch with Matt Newton from Precision Helicopters. They lease this massive block. It is really stunning. It's a beautiful place.
I don't think it's that hot.
So what else you got on the menu, Lily?
What? Goat jerky.
Yeah, really?
And I do canned bread.
Canned bread?
Yep.
What, you buy it in a can?
No, you make the dough and you shove it in a can, cook it for like an hour, and then you reopen the can and pop it out the bottom, and it looks like a tank loaf.
There you go. God, I've only been here 5 minutes, and you've learnt how you eat when you come to Mangatoi. Lucky things.
Tastes a bit like chicken, does it?
You know what? That's not bad. Really. Give it a try.
I tasted a bit.
Really, try it.
It tastes good.
It's not
Delicious.
bad. It's not bad. Do I sound surprised?
Actually, it's nicer than I thought it was going to be.
Not bad at all. Mangatoi turned out to be non-stop adventure, even for a guy in a wheelchair. Matt and the entire Newton family absolutely revel in what this place has to offer and are anxious that visitors leave with a suitable impression. After the helicopter finished ferrying gear and people, we headed off to track down one of the elusive pigs. Even the journey to Pigville turned out to be a lot of fun. Matt and I travelled in the Rhino, James on the Grizzly, and others on trail bikes. One thing was for sure, we were not in stealth mode, something I'd always regarded as important for a successful hunt. This is what you have kids for, isn't it, mate?
Yeah.
A mixed combo there.
I was thinking maybe I should have a few more though, because there's not quite enough horsepower there to do the job.
Do you know the only thing that's missing? The stop-go flag. A little sign, you know.
Yep. Making a ramp, are you?
Yeah, you're putting it on the wrong side.
My dad used to say that, you know, I'd bring mates home from boarding school. I was allowed to bring one mate home, but if I brought three home, he would hate that. And he always used to say, one boy's a whole boy, two boys, half a boy, three boys, no boys at all.
Because you don't get any work out of them.
No, they just muck around and play all day. It's showing a bit of potential now, Gabriel. Put that down on the ground level.
Yeah, now we're talking, mate. What was that other saying your father had about a rifle and a...
The saying goes, all guns are loaded, all dogs bite, and horses kick at both ends. And if you remember that, you know, you're pretty safe around a farm.
All right, out of the way, team, we're coming through. With obstacles overcome, it was time to park up and let the dogs find the pork. I was not expecting great things, but I sure was having a good time. A great place, warm, hospitable people with an infectious sense of humour. Yep, Mangatoi was everything I expected it to be and more. Gabriel was the guide and led the team off in search of game.
Mountain goat. Bad dog.
It's a young boar. Oh no, it's a sow.
It's a sow. Let it go, bro.
It's just a young sow, so we're going to let it go.
The pig hunters caught a pig which, because it was a sow, was let go to help maintain a healthy population balance. It seems that there are a reasonable number of pigs about, enough to make hunting exciting, but not enough to cause stock loss or other damage. That sow was a very lucky pig.
Yeah, a result. Not the bull we saw from the chopper though, but it was the pig we saw from the chopper. But them's the breaks. It's the only time pig hunters run, when they hear that pig squealing, and away they go. Nothing gets in your way. You just take off like a lunatic. Good exercise.
And coming up after the break, possums.
Morning. Just took the missus a cup of tea.
The kids are heading down the hill. I've set some possum traps, and Lily's got a club that she calls the Possum Basher. You may not want to see that particular impact shot, but a dozen, 15 possums, kilo of fur, and it's worth $140, $150, so it's good money. So go and have a look anyway at the end result, and then the team have put some bits of goat in the creek to attract the freshwater crays or kura. So hopefully they get a few of those. So take a little trip with the team and see what you get.
Where are the possums?
We're going to hit it right behind the back of the neck, hopefully,
Just
and
behind
snap
the
its
ears.
neck. And it'll die.
Knock it out. Now we've got to finish it off.
Well, we're plucking all the fur off,
And then we sell it.
and we sell it to a possum dealer, who then turns it into clothing. that sells really well in the market for Aucklanders and tourists. And they mix it with merino and they turn into socks and jumpers and garments and everything. And it's really popular because the material breathes. They have hollow fibres inside the fur,
And it's so soft.
so you don't sweat.
One possum.
We just do this on the holidays.
Yeah,
Pocket money.
Next one.
Bryony's got the hockey shop.
How many possum traps you guys got?
We've got 12 up here. And then the rest of them are at home.
So how did we do?
Pretty
4.5.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's alright.
Time to head back now.
Bit of exercise. Come here, Bella.
What have you done to the rhino? That was a beautiful, clean rhino.
Your motorbike was pretty clean at the start.
Yeah, and look, there were Yamahas all over the place. Here, look, the rhino, there's the big brother, there's the itty bitty little brother, and here's the middle-sized version, my grizzly. You saw it in last week's show, beautiful blue it was. Look, it is a grizzly, I can show you. Look, here, under here. See? That's what these things are designed to do. They're designed to get out in New Zealand backcountry, and they're designed to work.
Bacon, sausages, eggs and toast. Maybe some spaghetti. That's about all we got today.
Oh, sounds good, mate.
That's about all we got.
Beautiful. You've got to have an experience like this. If you haven't, you're missing out. This is fantastic. So you've seen the possums. After breakfast, the guys have got an old goat's head in the creek, and you're going to go and haul it out, and there should be some kura, freshwater crayfish on there. Yeah, get a few of those, might cook them up later. Some mangatoi, if you're interested, Precision Helicopters, get in touch with Matt, and maybe you too could enjoy an experience in a magnificent place like this.
Need one more load of
Inch thick butter. Hey, put hairs on your chest. The old man used to always put it on an inch thick. We used to think it was cheese, and you'd take a bite of it. Ooh, that's butter. One big dob of the bloody stuff.
Obviously not worried about a coronary at any.
Well, you gotta support the dairy industry. You know, it could collapse around our ears if we don't put our butter on thick.
You spent too much time in that helicopter to burn anything off.
Oh,
Someone told me you were mustering cattle or something with a machine the other day. I thought they only did that in Australia. There's big cattle properties.
it's because my dogs aren't that good. Yeah, the helicopter's a very well-behaved dog, that's for sure. Actually, it works really well. When you're mustering cows and calves with dogs, they tend to stop and fight. But, you know, they don't fight the helicopter. They just think it's this big flying predator, and they just cruise along. Works really well.
Good stuff.
Shame about the cost, that's all.
Yeah, well, there is that. The big flying predator as a passport to get you into all sorts of mischief. Well, yeah, fishing, hunting, cruising, in here, outdoor experiences of everything imaginable, really. I remember that Jurassic Park place you took us to last time, at the waterfall, where you took Penelope and Tom Cruise. And I had visions of Penelope swimming there in a bikini, the eels wrapped around the leg. Anyway, I won't go too far into that, but that was an awesome spot. But there are a lot of eels there, aren't there?
It is, mate. Yeah. Oh,
Didn't one latch a hold of you in that?
yeah, well, I reckon they think that I'm like a big, dead sheep. You know, when a sheep dies and it falls in the river and it rolls down the river and all the wool falls off it, and you end up...
It's white.
Yeah, well, if you look at my guts...
Oh, that's not.
It's,
Oh, sorry. If you're family watching this, I apologise.
you kind of get that look like a dead sheep. And anyway, so I'm having a swim under the waterfall, which I think is like the food conveyor. The sheep must turn up from this waterfall from where Waitonga is. And next thing, I've got a circle of eels around me, like a dozen, all coming up trying to nibble on my belly. And I had to bail pretty smartly, actually. It was, a bit of a fright. Oh, yeah, that's all right. I've got this special technique. You're going to catch it with your fingers or with the claws?
My claws.
Further, he needs to go in further.
Push it down further. The kids are trying to catch crayfish, but there's too much noise and dogs and... Oh, here we go. Got one. Hey! Yeah. Well, if you're only going to catch one, well, let's let it go.
No point eating it. Yeah, I can be bothered cooking.
That would have been fun. Right.
He got some enjoyment out of it.
And coming up after the break, history and hunting.
You're supposed to go hi-ho silver at the same time.
Hi-ho silver.
These kids were fantastic. They didn't waste a minute, could ride a horse or motorbike, knew how to turn possums into pocket money, and laughed and joked from dawn till dusk. I was left feeling that our outdoor environment is a fantastic school, an educational opportunity that helps to create fine young men and women. All that is needed is time in places like this and mentors like Matt who are prepared to share their knowledge. The old shearing shed brooded over everything and greatly intrigued me. As the weather took a turn for the worse, we sought shelter under its decaying roof. I mean, looking at Mangatoi now, Matt, it's hard to visualise this as a fully working farm, but here's the wool shed in the background, and they must have really shorn quite a number of sheep in there for a number of years.
Yeah, I mean, I believe they've shore up to 40,000 wethers. It was a wool farm, essentially, so they just had wethers. A farming family from the East Coast developed it.
Gee. This way, this far, up the river, how did they get stuff in and out?
Well, the river was like the highway, you know. Back then, a river was gold because, you know, you didn't have roads in New Zealand back in 1900s.
Had a few.
Not many. Yeah, not many. So having, basically, they brought their supplies into the Mokau River mouth off ships and then back onto river boats up the river. I think the river boats would come up on a daily basis because they were picking up coal and so on.
Okay, so you had Mangatoi as a working farm, sheep, and then you also had a mine.
Yeah, there was a small village here. As a result of the mine, there was a lot of employees, so I think there was probably 15 or 20 singlemans working here, plus you had 3 farmhouses and all their associated stuff. And back then, a farm was labour intensive, you know, because you didn't have machinery. So they actually used to make hay up here, I believe. There's old haymaking equipment kicking around and ploughs and all sorts of neat old stuff from the bygone days.
Well, judging by the writing on the wall in the wool shed, the place can't have actually functioned that well for too long. You know, I mean, well, a while. I mean, 1924, I think, was the earliest name I saw, to 1943.
Yeah,
so 19 years.
It appears to have gone downhill pretty quick when the Second War started. I think it struggled through the Depression. A combination of things. As the roading sort of came into vogue in New Zealand, farms on rivers were difficult with access, and I think the Depression just made it unviable, and basically the land was walked off, the lease was given up, and the farm sat idle for a number of years.
Okay, you've got a lease on it now, and you're knocking it back into shape to some extent, but there are added attractions for hunters and other people here. What are you hoping to do?
Well, at this point, we built a lodge to service the farm, and we just want to utilise that for other purposes, hunting, river experience, coming up the river in the helicopter, possibly going back down the river in a canoe. My kids are into riding horses, motorbikes, so you know we can basically do anything. Even at this point in time, if someone wanted to do a horse trek, a motorbike ride, a jet boat ride, we could cater for that because we have a good network of friends that work with us, including the owners. Graeme, you've got to excuse me for a minute because my bloody dog's gone wiring and I've got to call it in behind, okay?
All right.
Wait me a minute.
Now you got to
All right.
listen to this, listen to
Yeah.
this.
Hey, Ben!
Get him behind, Chip. Get him behind. Come on, Chip.
Ben!
Way to go, Chip.
Get him behind, Ben! Hey, Ben! Bloody mongrel. Just a pup. He's 2 stories high, but he's just a pup. Right, where the hell were we?
Oh,
Jesus.
we're almost near enough, mate. I think people have got the idea. If you want to come here for an experience, you never know what's going to crop up, or pop up for that matter. But I find the history captivating, the ability to do a vast variety of things particularly interesting. For someone like me who sits in a wheelchair, anything's possible when you've got good people giving you a hand. So we've had one great night, and who knows, we may even stay another. But superb. Mangatoi, Precision Helicopters, get in touch with Matt if this is your idea of a good time. There was just one piece of unfinished business. James was desperate to get a deer, and Matt anxious to oblige. That involved a flight south and stalk in fallow deer country.
You can see there's been plenty of deer around with all the droppings there. They look pretty fresh. Because it's a wet day, they're probably just under the cover, but we're just going to go for a walk. Southeastern Taranaki is good for fallow deer. Fortunately, we don't have a lot up our way, but it's not far in a helicopter. Something white. We won't worry about them, obviously, it'll make too much noise. There's a deer there, look. There's a deer, there's a hind.
Make sure it works.
Headshot. Oh, well done.
Whoa, all the damn.
That's a shame, it's a hind. Never mind. You got to take these opportunities when you can. Well done. Cheers, mate. Yeah, I'll bleed it so that we get that.
Oh no, there's lots of bullets in here.
I'll lead the way. You do that. Oh, fantastic. Anyway, that was a good carry.
Mission accomplished, and by the time the hunters returned, it was too late to fly out. That necessitated another night at Mangatoi. I would have been disappointed to have had it any other way. If you do decide to get in touch with Matt at Precision Helicopters, make sure you allow adequate time for this place to get under your skin. It sure as heck got under mine, and James keeps asking, when are we going back? And coming up on Gone Fishin', we head to the Bay of Islands, catch up with Ihaka's disabled dive course in Whitianga, and find out what's new with the Century Batteries beach and boat fishing competition. We are using a variety of great products, all available on gonefishingonline.co.nz. Check out the rod reel combos for serious anglers and the Kiwi Sizzle range of barbecues and smokers. Great gear at great prices. gonefishingonline.co.nz.